If you in there, nigga, I'm Ghost.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you want to see the full live stream that this video is from, click the link in the description down below. But before we get into this, make sure you thumbs up and subscribe, and let's get it. But we got a Loki series. Now look, I'm gonna just say this off rip so I remember to say it. So basically, when I did the characters tier list, I said it seems like with Disney, for their main things besides Disney itself, Star Wars and Marvel, it's always one of the better series gets overlooked because they give you a whole bunch of BS. And then when you finally get to something good, no one cares. Now, Star Wars, if Ahsoka was just completely trash, at that point, just throw it all away, bro. Just throw it all away. Give it a good 5 years minimum and start fresh in a different time period, dude. Don't even complete anything that you have going on. Unless you already started filming, just throw it away. But, you know, they had its ups and downs for Ahsoka. But the one that was under the radar was Andor. Because they're like, okay, we get Mandalorian, cool. And then Mandalorian Season 2, cool. And they get Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan. And I'm going to be honest. I liked, you know, to a certain extent, Rogue One. More or less, I mainly liked the last, 30 minutes of it. But when they announced Andor, I didn't care. Dropped the trailer. Hold on, that looked cool. Watch the series. Okay, that was cool. And now we get Loki. Now Loki, Tom Hiddleston has been carrying Marvel literally for the past, and I say literally because if you've seen the finale, been carrying it since the first Thor movie. This Tom Hiddleston is actually someone who I can't see someone else playing Loki. Now when we got classic Loki, like I could see someone, you know, classic Loki and kid Loki. I could see someone playing different ages of Loki. But like Loki at the age that he's at, I can't see anyone else playing. Like Robert Downey Jr., he did good as Iron Man. I can see other people as Iron Man. I'm sorry. As much as everyone says no one could be other people could be Iron Man if we really thought about it. Like, bro, he didn't even play Iron Man in What If. So pretty sure he didn't. I don't remember any of the main Avengers being in What If. I just remember like all the people who's in the new, like basically people who's continuing after Endgame besides Chris Hemsworth was in What If. But I can't really see anyone else as Loki. Anytime someone talks about the Thor movies, it's kind of ironic. Soon as Loki stopped being in the picture, things were never the same. I remember on another channel, I ranked the villains of the MCU, and this is around like I included like Netflix Marvel series as well, and I think I put Loki at number 3, and I put Thanos 2, and then I think I put Killmonger 1. Only reason I put Killmonger 1 is because he had less time to make an impact, And then the only reason I put Loki down at 3 is because he had more time, even though he still had a massive impact. And then Thanos, like, he had some promotion and then had his main impact in Infinity War. This is before Endgame. But just think about it. Him carrying the MCU. So we get the first Thor movie. People don't really like it, but everyone likes Loki in it. Get the Avengers film, and by the time we get the first Avengers film, what people would have to realize with Marvel after Endgame is they seem to forget that there was problems the first 2 phases of the MCU, even though there's like more. Like, if you think about before Avengers, the first Avengers, what did you have that was like, that's a great Marvel movie? You had Iron Man 1, that's it. You can say, oh, I liked the first Captain America, but are you putting that in your top 5 MCU films? No, you're not. Unless you just really like Captain America. And even then, you'll probably be like, Civil War, Infinity War. Like, you probably have other films before you even think about the first Avenger. But what they had a problem in early on was villains. Think about it. Before Thanos, who do we have as good villains? We had Loki, and we had the Winter Soldier. And then people was like, oh, you can't really, because he's really a good guy and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Actually, let me go through the films. And like, so the reason I say this is because everyone looks fondly on the Avengers. Loki was in the mix. Oh, the Thor movie? It wasn't really that. It wasn't bad, but we didn't really care for it. But Loki was in it, so that, you know, Loki was the best part of it. Okay. Iron Man. Great film. Incredible Hulk. No one even mentions that. Iron Man 2. Come on, bro. You're not putting Iron Man 2 in your top 3. Thor, already talked about that. First Avenger. Then Phase 2, Iron Man 3. Everyone shits on that. Thor: The Dark World. Everyone shits on that. Captain America: The Winter Soldier. So we're about almost 10 movies in, and we have Captain America: The Winter Soldier and the Avengers. That's all we have. Then we get Guardians of the Galaxy. Age of Ultron, I think, is overhated. I don't think it's the best film, but I think it's very overhated. And we get Ant-Man. It's not until Phase 3 where we start picking up Civil War, Doctor Strange, even though the villain wasn't that good, Guardians 2, Homecoming, Ragnarok, Black Panther, Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel. It's tough. You just had to ruin the streak. I liked Ant-Man and the Wasp. It wasn't the greatest, but it was something. I didn't hate Captain Marvel, but like, if I ranked it on a scale 1 to 10, it's between 4 and 6. Like, it's not the worst film and it's not the best film. Probably a 4 or 5, but I'll say 6 just so you know that, like, there was somewhat of me enjoying it a little bit. Endgame, Far From Home. So if you really think about it, the only time we get bangers back to back is like Ant-Man until Infinity War. And I say Ant-Man because people liked it, but then no, the first one's not good either. And okay, whatever. It didn't bring the other. Bro, it's its own little story. So that was just a little side thing of like what people have to understand is the MCU didn't start off bangers. That's the only reason why I'm still here, is because I'm like, if we get to Avengers Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty, even though I hear you're trying to change that, even though the plot of Loki is leading to this is what it's going to be, Um, if we get to those movies and you're not, and it's still garbage, say goodbye. I'm only strictly pulling up for Spider-Man stuff and Daredevil. And then I'll check out your little side projects like Blade or some shit. But if you like announce Fantastic Four and you do some diversity hires or some stupid shit, say goodbye. Well, that's gonna be before. That's gonna be before Avengers. So I guess really Spider-Man and Shang-Chi and like whatever y'all got going on with X-Men and Deadpool, of course. But so then we get to phase 2, Thor: The Dark World. Everyone hates it. What do they like about it? Loki. Loki's the best part. We want to see more of Loki. Why the fuck does this keep? Okay. So then, we get to Ragnarok. Now Ragnarok, you know, people enjoyed it. And this was the first time that they enjoyed it where it's like, even though they enjoyed Loki in it, if Loki wasn't in it, people weren't going to be like, the film goes from a 9 to a 3. Like, it wasn't going to drop drastically. Now people might be like, I want to see Loki in it. So then we get to Infinity War. Infinity War, banger. It's just a banger. Like, you can't really say Loki carried that. But then we get to Endgame, and people are like, I know there's no correlation, but I'm just stating. Oh, Thanos is not the same, and it's not the Thanos from Infinity War, because even though this is a different type of Thanos. Oh, the ending was impactful, but, you know, getting to there wasn't really it. Then we get the phase 4 and beyond. So we get all these projects. We get the next Thor movie. There's no Loki to carry you to victory, bruh. I'm sorry. Thor, you're one of my favorites, bro. Like, even when people were hating on you, you're one of my favorites that wasn't Spider-Man. I can't count Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the reason I got into the MCU. You're one of my favorites. And then I didn't like you in Endgame. And then I'm like, oh, okay, he loses his gut in this. Didn't really care for you in Love and Thunder. They try to bring in Jane Foster, and then now she's dead. Forget it. But what are, besides what is the saving grace of the MCU? Loki. Because you got season 4. People, you know, Shang-Chi, but like, people even still want to hate on Shang-Chi. Okay. No Way Home, that's probably the only one that you got good in season 4. Season 4, phase 4. I don't care what no one says. I'm sorry, Wakanda Forever was not it. I'm sorry. Phase 5. What do you have? We'll have to see what Deadpool and Captain America's looking like, but so far we're not. Oh, well, we had Guardians. So it's like we had, if Loki wasn't in the mix and it wasn't Guardians, it was struggling. So basically, I was just saying that to say how Disney gave us Marvel and Star Wars and how they're just giving us a whole bunch of BS. Then we finally get something good and it doesn't get the recognition. Like, I did the characters tier list. You know how long it took me to... I didn't even find one that had all the characters in it. But meanwhile, Ahsoka, I did that a couple days later and it was already up there. This is almost a week later since the episode dropped. The last episode dropped. But so I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say this is a banger overall. If you watch this series and you binged it, it probably or if this series was 2 or 3 movies, it'd probably be one of the better movies in the MCU by far. Like, you still had your down episodes with the one where they get trapped on the planet in season 1, and then even though it was cool to see them on the train and stuff like that and interacting, and we get to like really meet Sylvie and shit like that, it was just this own contained a little shit. And then I think it was episode 5 where it's just basically none of it mattered, because it was basically him resetting and starting back from where we left off in the previous episode. And then, yeah, but I think those were like the 2 episodes where like you can kind of be like, we don't really need that much. We can kind of have a couple scenes with them, but this whole episode of it, nah, we don't need that. But Loki has been the saving grace. Now, the only reason I made this video is because when I was watching when I did the reaction on the channel, number one, you already know how I feel about Sylvie. If y'all don't know, basically, I was always like, bro, why are you doing this? Like, spazzing at her. And now I'm just thinking, am I the bad person? And then they finally they confirm it, like, yeah, she fucked everything up. So I'm like, okay. So I wasn't wrong for thinking this way. But then he said, I know what type of God I want to be for you. I was like, for Sylvie? So that was kind of one thing where I was like, But besides that, like, I'm not someone who's going to be like, here's some fan service, or here's some little thing here, and be like, oh my God, like, okay, it was the World Tree, that's cool, okay, cool, all right. But I'm not going to be jumping all over the walls and So that was one where I had to, you got to resonate, let it marinate for a couple days, and then you got to go into saying what about it. Now I think so far, series wise, this is the best Marvel series. Y'all saw the title I put at the finale. There's other series that have like more moments that I like for it, but they also had a lot of shit that brought it down. Like those episodes I talked about, they're cool episodes, but they just weren't Loki level episodes. Now when I said Loki literally is carrying the MCU, he was literally carrying all the timelines at the very end, bruh. And he's been carrying for the last couple years. Like, I got the list of the villains, bruh. Not the villains, the movies. What villains of these besides Thanos and Loki and Killmonger do you remember? Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, First Avengers, Iron Man 3, Thor the Dark World, The Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, Captain America Civil War, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man Far From Home, Black Widow, Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings, Eternals, Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Thor Love and Thunder, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Marvels. The Marvels just came out like a few days ago. See, I was going to check it out, but then I got busy and I'm like, you know what, I'm just check it out on the channel. But phase 1, you only remember Loki and Red Skull because you can't not remember Red Skull. His name is literally what he looks like. Now, of course, you know Obadiah Stane, but like the casual viewer, no one knows. Phase 2, you have the Winter Soldier's name's literally in the title, and he's one of the better villains And then Age of Ultron, his name is in the name. His name is in the title. Captain America Civil War. It was Civil War. Volume 2. Okay. Hit Star-Lord's dad. Okay, cool. Homecoming. Homecoming is like the Homecoming besides like connections to the main character and Loki is the first time where we get a villain that's like, well, I mean, well, he still has kind of somewhat connections to the main character, obviously, but like, when I said connections, I meant like Star-Lord and his dad, or the Winter Soldier is Steve's best friend, but like Vulture was his homecoming date's father, which he didn't know until like later in the film. But Spider-Man Homecoming is the first time where it's like, okay, it's not the greatest villain, but like, okay, that was a good villain. Thor Ragnarok, we get Hela. Okay, another good villain. It's your sister, but okay. Black Panther, great villain. Infinity War, great villain. Ant-Man and the Wasp, interesting villain concept. You're doing too much, and then it wasn't executed as properly as it could be. Captain Marvel, I'm sorry, I don't even remember the villain. Like, I tried to defend you earlier, don't remember the villain. Avengers and Endgame, of course, we already have Thanos again. Far From Home, Mysterious. So by the time we get to phase 3, we only really have like a couple people and Loki. And then after phase 3 is when we start getting, is when we start getting, Disney Plus and stuff like that. And ever since then, he's been carrying. And I think season 2 is what really, I don't know, the finale, man, he went crazy, bruh. Tom Hiddleston has been carrying this, bruh. You know what? This turned from a review to me just saying Loki has been carrying MCU. And if you're watching this video, I'm doing this on stream, so that's how like it's playing out right now. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Comments down below. Thumbs up, subscribe, stay tuned for the next one. I'm out. Peace.